Zoulfa, thank you for speaking with us today. Very, very excited about your book. Love the title of the book.
So much.
You know, The Ocean Would Paint Me Blue. Do you just want to explain to us how you came up with the title
So
before we get to the story?
Yeah, sure. Finding a title for the book is like one of the hardest things. I would argue harder than writing the book itself because you would have to like kind of get a summary of the entire book in a couple of letters, a couple of words. And so actually the original title that I came up with was Color Me Brave. But in publishing, I don't know much about like publishing lingo, but my editors were like, color is usually associated with middle grade. So we really wanted to find something that kind of sets the tone of a YA book. And what I really like is having my titles be something that I write within the book itself. So lemon trees, as long as the lemon trees grow, is also a sentence within the book. And for this, it exists in a paragraph that kind of encompasses everything that Jihad wants and hopes to be. So I take that. She's like dreaming about the future, where she's like, the grass would paint me green or something like that. And then the ocean would paint me blue.
Okay.
And that was taken and put into as the title.
Nice. And you mentioned a couple of things that we haven't got into yet. You know, the name of the main character, which we will get to. You also mentioned about your previous book, As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. That touched so many people in so many incredible ways, right? But you've taken a different direction with this one. So what made you decide to tell a completely different story with, you know, The Ocean Would Paint Me Blue?
So both Lemon Trees and Ocean were books that I really needed to write. Like Lemon Trees was a cry for help, let's say, and Ocean was everything that I wish I read when I was 12, 13, 14, 15 years old in my teenage years, because all the books that I read with Muslim characters, we were always shoved inside a very small, tight box with no room to breathe. And you only get the stereotypes or nothing at all.
Yeah.
And I wished we had nothing at all. Like there were times when I'm like, that's enough. That's enough representation.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if I was that Thanos meme, I'm like, I'll do it myself. Like I'll just write it myself. And so it took a long time. I mean, 32 years old. I wrote it when I was 30, I think. So it took a while. You need to kind of find the words to write a book like this. It's a culmination of everything that I've gone through, everything that my friends have gone through. And it was very cathartic to write this story.
Yeah.
To put in all the feelings and thoughts and not sugarcoat it, write it as it is, write it as how I've experienced it, or as my friends have experienced it as well. And I wanted to also, in a way, write what jihad really means in a book,
right,
and embody that meaning of this character, and hopefully bring the reader who doesn't know about the meaning a bit closer to what it is, and then they themselves discover their own jihad that they experience within their own life.
So let's just take a step back and understand the story that you've written, right? You said it came from your own experiences, your friends, and I was going to go to the process, but I want to understand from your perspective, if you like, you know, were to explain to someone about the book, how would you actually encapsulate the story?
I would say that this is a love letter to the Arabic language, as well as healing from grief through art.
Okay. And there's obviously a strong theme of grief with this book. So what made you choose art over other form of, you know, healing that you could do?
I thought about that for a very long time, actually, because first of all, my answer would have been, I love art. I love museums. I love Monet and Van Gogh. I could stare at a painting for hours, like just the feelings that it invokes is something incredible. And I love art both in a painting and also in nature. Sunsets are one of the most beautiful things that a person can experience. Seeing it is like seeing it for the first time every single time, like it never gets old. But then I started thinking about it even more deeply, and I thought that in today's world with so much happening, a lot of people love art. And that's it's an escapism, but it also speaks to not just escapism, but also speaks to a deep rooted need for people to do art, to make art, because it means humanity itself. That's true. It means to be human. And I was thinking about, I love music. I'm a big music lover. My Spotify hates to see me come. I'm always listening. And so I think about these artists who are always sold out, and people pay money to go to concerts and to experience either like music like Hans Zimmer with soundtracks for music, for
Harry Potter, for example. Yeah.
Or like going to actual concerts, like with people who sing actual words and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're sold out because people yearn to not just escape, but to see to experience something that speaks to their soul, to their
That connection, right?
Exactly.
It's a sense of connection
Exactly.
and connecting with something.
Exactly. And so this is what I wanted to show with Jihad and her love for the art, that it comes from a very human part of her soul. And you can see that the murals that she draws connects people together, and they all feel the feelings that she's trying to portray through her paintings.
There's an element of like a magical realism in this. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
So at first, there wasn't going to be a magical realism part at all. It was going to be purely contemporary, where she goes out at night and she draws a mural, and then this catches the attention of people, and it just becomes a story from that. And then she goes out every night and she does the same thing. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, that's not very realistic. I found the magical realism within something realistic, because I'm like, no one's going to go at 3 a.m. Certainly not at Hijab. I'm not going to go out at 3 a.m. in New York. That never going to happen. So I was like, how do I do this? How do I do these murals? And that's when I thought, I was like, oh my God, I have magic. I can just like do that with a sketchbook. And that's where the idea came from.
Yeah. Were you excited when you came up with that idea, that premise? It was like, wow, I can actually,
Like fireworks.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gonna eat. Like people are gonna love this.
Yeah. And because I guess going back to what you said about people going to concerts and art exhibition and all that stuff, you know, it's just, I think when you read a book, that's your escapism, right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're giving your audience,
Exactly.
the readers.
And also for them to feel seen, not just escapism, but also to identify with a lot of elements, because sometimes a lot of people suffer quietly. They go through something they don't really talk about. Like, for example, Jihad doesn't talk about what happens to her with her father or with her sister until the very end.
Right.
And so a lot of people go through hardships and they don't tell anyone. And books, songs, poetry make you feel like you are seen, like someone out there is saying that I see you. I don't know you, but I see you, and I'm there for you through these words, through this painting, through this verse of poetry.
Talk us through about how you went through the process of coming up with her name. I'm not going to say it's controversial, because I think in a way it's like, it's a word in Islam, and we all know what it means, but at the same time, I guess there's a certain narrative out there that's not very positive, right? But you took that bold and brave decision to use her name as that word. So what made you go towards that direction?
I mean, the book existed because of her name. I wrote the book because of that name.
Right.
And Islam has existed for 1400 years, right? So people have been naming their children Jihad for 1500 years. Now suddenly it's become like a bad word with bad meanings. And I wanted to take that back. I was like, no, you don't get to co-opt my word, my identity, and make me feel ashamed of a part of my culture and my religion that is actually something very beautiful. And I'm here to educate you, to tell you that the meaning of this word is not what the media has been telling you. It's something else. And so I wanted to show it to you. I wanted to show, not tell, through Jihad's experiences. So it came to me actually a very long time ago. I had a Twitter in 2019, blah, blah, blah. And I tweeted that, why aren't there main characters called Jihad? I was actually very curious to find out, because I was like, I know Jihads in my life. They live in West Africa, in the Middle East. But obviously it doesn't matter. Of course it can be called Jihad, but obviously very different if you live in the States or in Europe. And I had a lot of positive feedback in the comments, and which was very nice to see. And it made me realize that a lot of people are genuinely good people. Like whatever the media is showing you, that's not everyone. That's literally a minority. There are way more of us good people out there than there are of them.
Exactly.
And so I was like, well, I'll write a story about it. I'll do it myself. And so that's when I started coming up with a story. It took a while for me to gather all the feelings that I felt, that what she had felt, for example, to be able to put them in a book, in a story itself. So that took a while, but it was always the intention to write a story about a girl named Jihad and show the reader what that really means.
So the book, right? It's navigating loss, grief, and trying to find your own identity and stuff for a young girl. That's a lot. That's a lot. How do you think your readers, especially your young readers, can resonate with the experience of Jihad and perhaps yourself?
I hope that they would find themselves within her. I hope that they don't go through what she's going through. I hope that whatever hardship that they're going through, whatever it is, that they would find solace in her and know that it's not forever. I mean, she talks about that. And that's something that when you're young and you're going through something difficult, you're like, this is it. This is the end of the world. This will never change. But it does change. High school is not forever. Pain is not forever. Even pain in your adulthood, it's not forever. This is what it means to be human. You go through your ups and downs. And I wanted to show that with Jihad, because at one point of the story, she's like, my life is going nowhere. When you get to I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff. When she gets to that point where she's lost everything, she's like, how do I move on from this? And then slowly doors start opening for her without her even realizing it. And at the end of the book, you see that the fruit of her journey being finally blossoming. And so I want young readers to feel less alone, and for Muslim readers to be very proud of their identity and where they come from, and their culture and their heritage and the Arabic language as well, to also research their names of the meanings of their names as well. Because as I said in the book, like all Arabic words
mean something, yeah. Like my name.
Which is?
Shirin.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, they all
it's Persian.
Yeah, they all have and even Persian names. Yeah, they all have meanings, and it's such a beautiful thing to experience, to find
Explore.
out. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you see that meaning reflected within yourself. So for me, Zoulfa means close, or in a religious context, it means close to God. And it's in the Quran 4 times.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's so beautiful to be like, well, this is so.
Well,
it makes you feel special.
It does. Mine means sweet, so I'm not sure how true that is.
That means you're very sweet in your life, but we have sweet things happening to you. We're like a liar, yeah. So it's a beautiful thing to explore, like you said.
Yeah.
And so I want them to take pride of who they are, because coming from me, I'm 32 years old. For a very long time, I've lived as an apologetic Muslim. I'm a recovering apologetic Muslim.
Yeah.
And so I don't want them to go through the path that I went through, and to be proud of who they are.
Would you say that's part of the message in the book?
Absolutely.
In the sense that, just be who you are and make a stand as to what you believe in.
Exactly.
And it doesn't necessarily just represent Muslims, right?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I want Jihad also to be for everyone. The same thing as Lemon Trees was. Lemon Trees was literally for everyone. I've had people from Ukraine, from Romania come up to me and be like, what Salama went through. Oh my God, like, the people from Ukraine
You're feeling with goosebumps now.
Seriously. I will always remember I was here in a school, maybe it was in London, I'm not really sure, but there was this young girl, a student from Ukraine, and she was crying, and she was telling me that what Salama went through was what I went through when I was in Ukraine. And I would have never imagined that in a million years. And so books like this, characters like this, they transcend everything. There are no barriers here. And so this is the same thing that I want with Jihad for anyone, regardless of who they are and where they come from, their experiences, whatever it is. Find yourself within this character. I hope you find yourself within this character and within her own experiences, and you feel less alone. She's fictional, but she's your friend.
Yeah. So how did you manage to, I know you said that you kind of like wrote from your own experiences and your friends, but how did you ensure that whatever you're writing is true to the core of, a person's experience when you come from such a complex background?
It's a bit difficult, I will say, but at the same time, I didn't really think much about it until I have to think about it. So a lot of the interactions that Jihad has with the teachers or with people in school, her own relationship, also friendship with Alexis, this is very much rooted within reality itself. A lot of people will identify these experiences with themselves as well. And so it was something that I just wrote without knowing that I was writing it. Again, it was very, very much cathartic. Then when I started thinking about it, I'm like, some people might find this a bit exaggerated. Some people might find this a bit of a character. I'm like, this is not. This is all real. Like, I recently, one of the things that happens is that with Jihad is that whenever she meets someone who was like not Muslim, and then they would start talking to her, and then immediately, like third, fourth bit of conversation, they're like, okay, so like, what do you think about Islam? Or like, so you have to fast all of Ramadan, not even water? This happens to me, I can't even tell.
Yeah, of course.
Every single time. Like if I had a penny, I would be so rich right now.
Yeah.
A penny, not even at all. And so and people were like, oh, come on, it's not that serious. I'm like, but I welcome questions, of course, but it is like that. You become, what she is like, she's the face of being Muslim. And so she has to be a spokesperson for that, for this entire religion. At the same time, it's not fair to put all that weight on someone who is 17 years old. And it happens. It happens to a lot of Muslims in schools as well. And so I really wanted to show that these are our realities, and it's sometimes difficult to navigate because sometimes people ask you a question and you don't know how to answer that, and it puts you in a like, aha, we got you moment, and it's not nice.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to show this kind of experience that I went through, or my friends are also going through, and I hope it opens people's eyes to how they treat other people.
Yeah, and have more kind of like understanding of other people's cultures, be curious and ask the right things, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Be respectful.
I welcome questions, but I'm not a scholar, so I can't always answer everything. But I always try to direct, like, oh, I don't know, but you could like learn more about from so and so. And I always direct people to converts and reverts, because they actually did, like, you know, they studied and they wanted to know more, and they would have better answers than I would ever have, because I grew up with the religion. So not like taking it for granted, but like I had to make my own research later in life, rather than them coming from a very completely different perspective looking into the religion.
Yeah, I totally hear you, because I think if you're born into the religion, you understand the religion from a cultural perspective, right?
Exactly, true.
You know, how we dress, how we celebrate certain things, weddings, and so many different ways.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, at the root of our beliefs is Islam.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, we don't have much time, but I just want to ask you about her friend, the friend.
Alexis?
Yeah, who befriended her. How did you come up with that character? What was your kind of like objective with this character?
I wanted Alexis to represent a lot of people. I think there's a lot of people who are Alexis and they don't really know it. Alexis is a person who was presented with two paths, and she chose one over the other.
Okay.
And it comes down to peer pressure. And I wanted to show that in a way where I know Jihad's identity as a Muslim plays a very big role in the friendship group, but I wanted it also to be in a way where even if she wasn't Muslim, even if she was Muslim but she wasn't wearing the hijab, it was going to be the same thing. Even if she wasn't Muslim, it would have been the same thing.
Yeah.
These friendships that are rooted within toxicity exist for everyone. And so I wanted to show that regardless of her identity, but obviously her being who she is, that adds a very big extra layer to the entire relationship. And with Alexis, I wanted to show someone who could have done something, could have made a different choice, but she didn't want to because of peer pressure, or because of being scared of being outed, or being othered in a way as well, like taking her side over someone else. So it was very interesting to write, and also in a way cathartic as well. Like it was she's a very special person, I would say.
Oh, very serious, actually. I love it. I love how you portray the character. So one final word, I guess, for a new fan, someone who's just picking up, you know, a book written by you. What's your message to them? How should they approach the book?
With a lot of tissues. My books, apparently I've been termed as like sad girl character.
Good way.
In a good way, yeah. No, I mean, I like to cry when I read a book, so that's good too. So yeah, I would say that come at it with like an open heart. And I hope that you get something from it at the end, and that it leaves you with hope, that it leaves you that you want to be a better person. Like, I don't want this book to be, like, if I want everyone to find themselves within one of the characters or whatever it is, but if you find yourself feeling like you're probably like someone who's not really good in the book, that doesn't mean that you have to be like that. You can change. You don't have to be like Alexis. We're not just people made of stone and don't change. We change. We can become better. Actually, one of my favorite scenes is at the end where one of the characters apologizes for what they did. I love that scene. I didn't realize I was writing it until I was writing it. And so I just want the book to be kind of like a stepping stone for people to become better, for them, to themselves or to other people.
Having that, I don't know, just extending that connection with others, right?
Exactly.
You know, I think it's beautiful what you've written.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
And I, inshallah, wish it's going to be a success again.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you to say.
Thanks for speaking to us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
No worries.
Great questions.